So, not that long ago, my company had an event and there was a lot of food left because at these events, people usually don't tend to eat that much. So, there's always a ton of food left over. And I didn't want to see it get thrown away. So, I thought, okay, I'm going to put it in a bag and I'm going to give it to the nearest homeless person I could find. So, I do that. I walk outside for like 20-30 minutes looking for somebody that looks like they could be in need of food. And eventually I stumble across this tent where there's this guy sitting in there peeling an avocado. And I'm going up to him and I'm like, excuse me. He's not turning around. And I say it again and he says, I like to be left alone, please leave me alone. And I say, oh, I've got food for you. And he's like, food? And he's like, I think he said leave me alone, but I wasn't entirely sure. And then I say, oh, should I just leave it here? And then he just starts shouting at me and tells me to go away. So that was a great start. I then went for another 30 minutes looking and I couldn't find anybody. So what I decided to do was just leave it on the street with a sign saying, this is free food, what's inside, please take it. Because that intuitively makes sense. That's what you would do if you couldn't find anybody and you wanted somebody to take something. It's what you do with like furniture and things. So I leave it outside with the sign and I think, I've done a really good thing. I'm really proud of myself. I come back the next morning and not only has the food not even been taken, but there's actually rubbish all over the floor and on top. People have just thrown rubbish on top of the bag, which is meant to be for food. I mean, it did look a bit like a rubbish bag, but still, I was pretty annoyed. So I ended up not only not giving the food away, because it ended up spoiling overnight, but also I just made the street look worse than it did originally. And that made me ask the question, is there actually an art to giving? Like, it's not just, oh, you have this intuitive idea of how you're going to help somebody, and then you just go and do it. No, maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe there are certain evidence-based ways that to actually give effectively. Like I could have given it to a food bank, but there weren't any nearby. But I didn't. I just chose to find the nearest person, partially because I wanted to feel good as well as wanting to do good. And the one thing that it did make me realise, most importantly, was that your intention can be great. Like I wanted to do good. I wanted to give it was like £50 worth of food to somebody who desperately needed it. I wanted to do that good. But then if you're incompetent at doing it and you don't know how to do it, you can just end up harming more than you do any good. And in a court of law or in any official situation, intention does matter. We judge people on their intentions more than the outcome. But somebody who got hit by a car because somebody swerved into you, or because you were just texting while driving, the outcome is exactly the same. They're still paralysed and injured. And often, when we're the recipient, just imagine like someone who's done you wrong. You often don't think about their intention. You just like, yeah, well, I feel shit. They did something bad to me. They might have meant good, but they didn't do it very well. And we judge ourselves by our intentions, but then we judge others by the outcomes on us. I mean, to use an example of this on an even bigger scale, think of international aid schemes. They don't usually lead to economic growth because the countries rely less on the taxes from the people, so there's less productivity and so on. That's an argument that could be made. And these have the intention of, oh, I want to help people who are more in need and they need our help. But there are also international schemes that work, like bringing anti-malarial vaccinations or giving mosquito nets. Those things demonstrate incredible effectiveness. Both have the same intention, yet two very, very different outcomes. And so maybe our intuition isn't the best thing to do with this. On an individual scale it might be, and everyone wants to feel good, everyone wants to feel like they've helped somebody. But in order to have the most help, sometimes you might need to think a bit more strategically.